Hey everybody, my next guest is a comedian and filmmaker whose latest series, Pontillo and Associates, is earning quite the buzz. Here he is to tell us all about it, the one and only Joe Pontillo. Joe, what's up, man?
Yeah, a lot of buzz. People saying, "Why did you do this? Why are you sending this to me? Who are you?" Thanks for having me. What's going on?
No, man, this is great, dude. The film is great. I didn't go to any of the premieres, unfortunately, but I'm glad to see it out there on YouTube. Everybody should check it out. We're going to show a trailer of it shortly. But dude, man, people don't understand what it takes to make a film because everybody always says, "Oh man, I'm going to make a movie, or I'm writing a movie, or I'm doing this, doing that." To actually see it through is a huge deal in and of itself, man.
Yeah, especially when you hit several points during the process where you go, am I just not going to finish this? Am I just like, am I just going to make clips out of this that have no context whatsoever?
Yes, dude, I've been there, man. I do kind of the same stuff. I'm making films and there's so many times when you're on the independent level where it's start and stop, and you start to think about, all right, what do I have so far, and could I just salvage this? You start to think quitting.
Oh yeah. So I started shooting in September and just kind of like sporadically and then shot all the way through like almost up until Thanksgiving. And I was like, I'm done. Took a few weeks off, started editing, got about 20 minutes into editing, and then I realized a couple of scenes, particularly like anything I shot outside, was kind of hot garbage. And I was like, oh no. And the best part is it was the dead of winter at this point. It was January. And so I was
Yeah.
like, well, none of this can be outside. So I have to completely reimagine like three or four scenes. But somehow it came together, and sometime I did a bunch of reshoots in like February, and then just ended up shooting a couple of things that didn't need to be reshot. But I was like, now that I've been in this universe for a while and I know these characters better, this is not what they would do. They would do something like this, and then like almost came up with new scenes on the spot. So yeah, what a and then after a while, I'm like, should I just reshoot the whole? Should I just keep going? Should I never stop filming this? Should I just just be my whole life shooting this thing for nobody?
But like you said, when you're doing the creative process, and I guess it's one of the advantages to independent too, is you kind of when you're doing everything yourself, you're writing it, you're starring it, you're editing it, then you start to realize different things or holes in the plot or things you want to add in or punchlines you might not have seen. You can get your core group together again to do it. It's not like a Hollywood film where you got, oh, we got to go back to Madrid or, like that shit.
We got to go to Madrid for the first time. I just came up with it. Let's go. We're going to
Yeah,
Spain
that's the new idea. Yeah.
for two people at a cafe for 4 seconds.
Hello, Pontillo and Associates.
I'm walking here right to the courthouse to file a class action lawsuit against Pontillo and Associates.
I might be in some serious trouble. Pontillo and Associates, lawyer to the stars. I mean, I really wouldn't advise that, but hey, it's your money. Wow. Okay. Yep. That is a sexy commercial.
I love the film, man. I thought it was great. It was funny. It's fast paced, a lot of punchlines. It has what I like about your stuff, man, because I've been, a fan of you for a long time. You've been for people that don't know, you've been like on the stand-up comedy scene for at least 20 years, I'd say, right? Close to
Yeah,
that.
28 years of pain.
Yeah. Yeah. So you've been like you're a real deal comedian, you're a real deal talent, and I've been watching you for a long time, and I feel like with the pacing of this film and the way your style is, I don't know if they're an influence on you or not, but I feel like Marx Brothers vibes, man, like a little bit of
Oh,
Groucho from you.
wow.
Yeah.
You're actually the second person who said that to me, and I wasn't necessarily believe it or not, the Marx Brothers were a big what you call it, like inspiration for getting into entertainment in the first place, even though they were all long dead before I was born.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And you know, but I just always like the idea, especially of Groucho just being this like fast talking guy who just thumbs his nose at every situation, no matter what it is. You know, authority figures, non-authority people he's beneath, but it doesn't matter. You know, I kind of, yeah, I like to think my style is like a combination of that and a combination of like all the comedy movies that came out in like the late 80s and early 90s, like Naked Gun, Hot Shots,
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
stuff like that. You know, actually, after watching the Naked Gun movie, the new one, I don't know if you saw it, I was like, remember when we used to make comedies where there was just a joke like every 10, 20 seconds? And even
Right.
if they all don't land, who cares? They'll land next time you watch it or something like that. So I really wanted to make something that was just like joke, 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 joke. And there's kind of a plot, but you don't have to kind of get the plot.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's where it's got that Marx Brothers vibe. And I see what you're talking about. We talk about the Naked Guns and those kind of like where it's like these zany, absurd type of situations that might happen. Like surely you can't be serious. I am, but stop calling me Shirley. Like those type of like zingers, those kind of quick one-liners. Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
there was one joke in this that neither screening did it get any kind of laugh, and I thought it was so funny. It's the one where my rival says, "You lay a hand on me," the deal's off, and I just lay my hand
Oh
on
yeah,
him
yeah, yeah.
lightly. And I've both screenings did not get a laugh, and I was like, "Really?" But to be fair, I know the joke just before it gets like a huge laugh, so sometimes you got that like, "I can't laugh again yet" thing.
Yeah, and like you said, it is bang, 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 and Punchline City. All the cast is great in it. Um, and this is some of these cast members are guys you've and women you've worked with, all throughout, which you've been doing sketches and all these things. So tell me a little bit about the cast and how what goes into getting them on board with this thing.
Man, it's always a fun and like weird process, like trying to put together a cast. So like I had made a bunch of shorts of Pontillo and Associates going back like 10 years. And each time I did it, I feel like I built the world more. And one of the last things I came up with when I was making shorts was the reason it's Pontillo and Associates is because his partner's last name was Associates. And I
I love
and
that.
I don't know why I thought of the guy I thought of, this guy Chris Ferretti, who plays that character, and he's terrific as that
Yeah, he's
character.
awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, he was so good in the one quick stupid scene that we shot for this short thing. I actually reused that scene in the pilot, but like a slightly different version of it. And then there's other people like I guess people just like working. I feel like I have the type of vibe that if I ask someone to do something, no matter how ridiculous it sounds, they're just going to say yes. I mean, maybe it's the the beauty of being in comedy and having so many people who are just desperate to do anything. What? No money? Yeah, I'm there. Um,
Right, right. Yeah. Exactly,
and
man.
then and then there's people like Les Deegan who have played a mayor character for me probably for like 16, 17 years at this point through various YouTube cinematic universes. And but he can't play anyone else. So
Dude, Les
And then
Deegan is perfect as the mayor. Yeah, I think he's typecast as the mayor forever. Like, if I ever use him for anything, he's going to be a mayor.
he's got the sash. You're welcome to borrow him for something. Just give him a different name. That's all I ask.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, you what's his character's name again? Mayor what? It's freaking
Mayor
hilarious.
McDick.
Yeah, that's
He
great,
just gets
man.
increasingly corrupt because I'm like, well, he's been around this long. Obviously, he's doing something illegal to stay in power. Uh, and then, yeah, I don't know. I remember it was like the summer of last year, and I did a show with a couple of comics. Actually, Abby, who plays Karen, my
Oh yeah, yeah,
not
she's great.
secretary, but I don't know what to call her in the
Right.
thing. And then the guy who plays Panic Law. I was just like, I think I'm going to shoot a pilot. Do you want to be in it? And they were just, oh, of course. I was like, wow, all right, enthusiasm. I'll take it.
Yeah, man. No, it's great because you also, like you said, you have a body of work behind you of all these sketches, and people know who you are, what you're about, so they kind of know what they're getting into when they jump onto a Pontello project. And yeah, and I love it too. I love another thing that you do in this film was you keep it clean. The jokes are all there, but there's no, I don't think there was any curses in there or anything like that. It doesn't really ever go blue. It's always you manage to keep it funny, like adult funny, like you know what I mean, but
Yeah,
also not going there. I think that there's something to say about that, like positive, you know.
yeah. That was sort of a conscious decision with this, and not that I'm in any way against cursing, vulgarity, or sexual innuendos or anything. But I was like, let's make this one kind of on the cleaner side. I think there's like one ass, one crap, and son of a bitch. That's it. Like
Right,
that's this.
right, yeah, yeah.
To the point where when I did the premiere, I was like, I was like to my family, oh yeah, and my niece can come. She's 5. And I'm like, there's no curse. She won't understand what's going on, but
No, I
hopefully she
think,
doesn't want to become a lawyer after this.
do you think that more challenging to approach it that way to like, to avoid those kind of traps because it's that they're all there, like especially when you're dealing with lawyers and criminals and all these type of things, and to not just with the curse words, but to go anywhere near politics or anywhere near the tone of the world and to just stay away from it, you know?
Yeah, I always kind of see what I do, whether it's stand up or sketch related, as I'm making fun of everything at the same time, without clearly taking a side, and I kind of think that's what comedy should get back to a little bit, where everything's just open game and shut up if you have a problem with what's, being made fun of. But also, I wasn't going to make a political statement in a 36-minute movie slash pilot, but yeah, and also with the cursing and keeping it PG or PG-13, like that's always a fun challenge too. Even in stand up, when it's like, oh, you have to be clean, no f bombs. You're like, okay, that's great. And I love cursing. Don't
Right.
get me wrong. My dream is to make like a Soprano style show about stand up comedy, probably with less killing. So obviously, and like real, like how comedy really is. Like everybody's awful and everyone talks like a maniac.
Yeah, yeah. But I'm kind of doing something similar to that with this film I'm working on, Comic Sans. We want to get you involved. I was talking with Tony Walker, who's helping produce this film, Comic Sans. He's my partner in crime on a lot of the shit. And I was like, man, I love even before your movie came out, but after the movie, I was like, man, Pontello and Associates, dude, so freaking good. I was like, we should do a crossover where we get my character Billy has to go to Pontello and Associates for for a lawyer and
Yes,
yeah, and bring and merge the two worlds together, make them collide.
I'll take the case. I don't even need to hear it. I just like to start with something positive.
Excellent. There you go. All right, cool. So it's a done deal. No, but yeah, that's definitely something we want to do. So that'd be awesome. But
Cool. Yeah.
And I did want to ask you too, because I feel like you've been doing the sketches, like TikTok and Instagram type style sketches before the curve. You were, if I'm not mistaken, like you were ahead of the curve on it, like doing these skits and things. And now I feel like everybody, it's kind of like podcasts in the beginning. Now do
Yeah.
you feel like, hey man, get off this is my shit. Like, or like, what's your sense on this kind of saturation of the market?
I think I was too ahead of the curve, and to the point where no one cared what I was doing.
Right.
Uh, but actually, I wish because I didn't really get like hardcore into doing like short sketches and stuff until like maybe 6, 7 years ago, and then when the pandemic happened and there wasn't really comedy, then I really ramped it up, and I was like, oh, I should just be doing this like every week, because really that's what it's all about now is putting out that sort of stuff. Like, oh yeah, do stand up every night, but you're only like barely moving the needle. It doesn't matter. Like nothing matters in stand up comedy. That's kind of what I've learned from doing it. Like you kill, doesn't matter. You bomb, also doesn't matter unless the one person sees you, who will remember that for the next 20 years for some reason. Um, it's what a nightmare. But yeah, but everybody's doing something, and I've noticed on the internet or like Instagram or TikTok, it's all about finding what your it's not even character. It's like what you're supposed to cover. Like there's a guy, we don't need to mention his name. You probably know who I'm talking about. He just does videos about Long Island towns. And if he tries to
Right.
do anything else, he probably won't get any views because Instagram and TikTok just is like, no, 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 no. Why are you posting something about food? We want Long Island. Um, so my thing is I do a lot of different subject. I've got my characters that I do, whether it's Pontillo and Associates or generic Italian guy. I feel like that's one of my popular ones. I feel like if I do a sports video, that always does well. um, and and stand up clips. I like just recently I posted some stand up clips and they're all doing great. And I'm like, is this what I have to do now? I have to post my stand up clips, which I used to be really opposed to. But now I'm like, who cares? Put everything on the internet. It doesn't matter at this point.
I feel like the comedy culture, which is always evolving, you look at every decade or so, but I feel like now it's changed where you need, and I think it's harder for a lot more older school comics. You need to have a social media presence because I think bookers are even looking at, oh, well, you only have so many followers or so many hits or likes or whatever. They're literally looking at those analytics before they take you on to stage, and that has its pros and cons because there's really good comics with no following that aren't seeing stage time, and then the
Yeah.
flip is that there's people that aren't even comedians that are selling out shows because they're so popular. So it's a weird conundrum that the comic is in.
Yeah, I'd like to think that bubble's going to burst at some point because, like, no offense to some of these, people who just blow up because of the internet and then they're like, I'm going to do stand up comedy. Um, I feel like there's only so many times you could go to that show and be like, oh, this person isn't really a comedian, are they? And it's not as fun. Or it's going to get completely out of control. And here's something I noticed. One of my most popular videos is a video that got a lot of like fighting going on in the comments, and got like over 500,000 or 600,000 views on TikTok, and it was about it was about like Luigi Mangione leaving
Oh
on a
yeah.
city bike, and me wanting to ban city bikes because they're the bicycles of assassins. And and I was getting like just lots of likes, lots of people laughing at it, but also lots of people being like, "Shut up, libtard! Screw you, conservative." I don't know. Somehow I was
Right,
accused of being on all sides of the political spectrum. That could be the future of comedy, though. You'll go to a comedy show and somebody will be on stage and say something, and the whole audience will just start fighting each other. And, and club owners will be like, "Oh no, what do we do?" And you'll be sitting there going, "Well, this is good for engagement, though, so just leave it alone."
yeah, this is great for my social. Yeah, my
Yeah,
social.
we're getting a lot of TikTok views. Don't worry about it. No
Yeah, yeah.
laughs.
Have you ever heard like I heard the expression, I forget who the hell said it, called clapter. Instead of laughter, it's clapter, where some comedians are just trying to get the applause. They just, like they'll say, whatever audience they're trying to appeal to, whether it's, F Trump or it's we love Trump. Either way, you're gonna get a
Yeah.
reaction. Um, what do you think about that kind of momentum that's or happening? This clapter thing where people are just trying to get, you know,
Yeah, I think that's not
approval.
really comedy. I think that's you're just holding a rally at that point. Uh,
Exactly, man.
I've done a few shows where there was, I guess, some younger people in the audience, and after each joke that they liked, they kind of did one of these, where I don't know if you're, I don't know what that's called, but I think it's
Yeah, like the
a,
hippie. Yeah, like yeah, man.
yeah, but that they were really, they were into it, but they were like only barely laughing, but the snaps were hard. I'm like, okay, yeah, we're at a jazz club in 1967, I guess now.
That's freaking crazy, man. Yeah, so we're just seeing, oh, like it's
Snapter.
just as a comic, man, and we're seeing this world and all you know, the good, bad, and the ugly that's going on. I feel like it's more, maybe it is because of the internet, but I feel like it's really going fast. I feel like there's so much happening at once, so much overload. How do you decipher through it, so to speak, and find the funny and all this crazy shit that's happening?
Yeah, funny you said the thing about it all going so fast. It was, oh yeah, that is true. That is so insane because there's so much happening, and you know that you want to do something that's relevant to what's going on, but you don't always have the time to do that.
Right? Yeah.
You kind of have to like pick and choose, your battles, and even like with social media, like oh, everybody's making videos about this, I have to make a video about this. So there's a lot of this like weird fake pressure, I guess. Um, but then 2 weeks later, we're on to the next thing, which was the message of my film to an extent. Because at the end, I'm like, yeah, well, nobody remembers what happens 2 weeks ago,
That
so
was great.
the
Yeah.
lawsuit's over. Get over it.
Yeah,
Move on.
you rip it up. Yeah, it's over. Nobody cares anymore. Yeah, and I think I'm feeling that kind of pressure too. I don't post. I don't post daily, and I don't post current like I would love to, but I do feel pressures. Like, should I post something about the Knicks? Like everybody and their mother's posting about the Knicks right now.
Yeah, I was trying to wait until it's over and they hopefully win, but
Yeah, exactly, man. Yeah, because so how often do you post, and is it something that you're thinking about all the time? And like, do you stack up and like schedule posts out, or like how do you approach this thing?
oh god, yeah. Some weeks I have things ready to go, and other weeks something comes up, and I'm like, do I have time to quickly, shoot something or make a tweet that becomes a meme? Because that's,
Right.
that's that's big too. Also, there's a new thing comics are doing where they're just posting like screenshots of themselves on stage and then just putting the captions of the joke. And I don't know why we're going backwards. Is that good or bad?
Yeah,
I
that's
feel like
it.
we were
Yeah.
doing that like 10 years ago, and I did a bunch of spoof of them where it was just like me on stage pointing, and the caption was just, this guy knows what I'm talking about. And I should bring those
That's
back because
great. That's
no one
great.
remembers them now.
Yeah, redo them. Put them back out, man. That's freaking
Yeah.
hilarious. When does
So,
inspiration because because you have, to me, I know it's your normal way of thinking, but to me, it's very unique way that you think and that you see the world and that you come up with these jokes. Like even what you just said, where you're pointing to the thing, and this guy knows what I'm saying. Like that is freaking hilarious. It's something that I never would have thought of. Where, like, uh, when do your best ideas? Is like when you're driving? Is it in the shower? Like when does the ideas flow?
traffic. No, I don't know. Kind of all different times. Like I do a show in Connecticut, and I always try to have some local jokes when I go there because I'm on every show and people have seen me multiple times. they if you talk about how bad the traffic is in Connecticut, they're like, they go nuts. And so
They
like I
love it.
was,
He knows. He
yeah,
knows. Yeah.
it's like I was just in Connecticut, and I was just like, oh, here's five more things I'm going to talk about on the next show, um, and they're going to love it because that's what it is. And then there's I don't know, not one of these people who sits down and writes. Like occasionally, I'll write a script. Or sit down and write a script. Like, so funny. I have an email saved of my ideas for the pilot slash film, and a couple of them I was like, oh, this didn't even remotely come out. But I just write ideas. It's like with stand up. I write down and I don't write a whole joke out. I just write, this, and then I go on stage and I just start talking about it and I see where it goes, and hopefully it gets to some place that's marginally funny.
Yeah, and then it starts to you're writing it on stage basically. So you taking the premise on stage and writing it on stage and then just crafting it that way.
Kind of. I also feel like I come up with a lot of jokes or tags when I'm on stage that just naturally come out. And then I'm like, oh, you know what? That should probably be its own bit.
Right, right.
And I say bits and skits, and, and I punch myself in the face.
How much do you cross over the stand up with the sketches, or are they two different animals?
They're sort of two different animals, even though it's really like the crossover happens with like social media posting and jokes because there's a lot of like, well, this did great on Twitter or Facebook. Will it do great on stage? Sometimes no. And at other times, there's something that does great on stage, and then you're like, would this be a good internet joke? And a lot of times, no. And it's a weird thing to have to write for like two different avenues, except I make money doing comedy and I make little to no money posting on the internet. Um, not, Notwithstanding the $2.50 a month I get from Facebook.
At least you're
So
getting that. Yeah,
yeah,
that's
so
funny.
like you really have to write for like several mediums as a comedian slash entertainer these days.
I think it's good to strengthen your chops. I feel like the comedians of today need to be stronger than the ones from 20, 30 years ago because there's so many different mediums and levels that you have to do to achieve just to be successful. It's crazy, man. Um, like when I wrote Comic Sans, I wrote it from this perspective of this comedian who's been around for a long time, and he's seen the good, the bad, the ugly of the comedy world. And he's kind of he's bitter and stuff, but he's the this particular thing is with I don't know if you've seen it, but Eric Haft plays he's almost like a what's his name, Kevin James type of character where he's the comic that made it big from the local
Okay.
scene. Yeah, and he's coming back to work the club on a rare club appearance, and my character approaches him and says, "Hey, man, remember me when we started out? I'm the one that helped you." Blah blah blah. He's like, "Why? How come you never gave me a break?" And all that kind of stuff. I just wanted to see, like, what is your take on that? Do you think comics that have blown up should give back to the ones that were there and help them out early on, or is it like, like because to me it seems like this kind of weird touchy subject where some people say, yeah, he should definitely help. While other people are like, why should he? He was, part of the process.
Yeah, and this is goes to like something that I kind of rage about privately a lot, where I feel like a lot of people in comedy, whether it's comics or even like bookers, are just kind of just outwardly like rude and like I don't know. I've always tried to be as I hate using the word nice, but like anybody ever reaches out to me about anything, even if I don't like them, I'm gonna give them the time of day. Just because like that's called being a human being, and I don't think there's any
Right.
real humanity in stand-up comedy, and that's a big problem. And also, like, why are you going out of your way to you essentially if someone doesn't respond to me, I'm like, this person is now my mortal enemy. Why are people in comedy going out of their way to just like pile up mortal enemies. I don't get it. Now, because like you never know who's going to blow up, and you never know who's going to get somewhere, or even someone has like a big job for you, but they're like, oh, screw this person who could never respond to a freaking Facebook message, you
Right.
know. And but then if you make it big, do you then owe everybody who helped you on the way up? I mean, it is what it is. I feel like you should try to help as many people as you can, but within reason. Like you can't be like forcing people into every single project you do, or
Right.
you
Yeah.
can't
Yeah.
call up the big wigs at the Hollywood and be like, look, here's a couple of guys who were nice to me 15 years ago. Just give them something. I don't know what, janitor job.
Right.
Give them a sandwich.
He'll work craft services or something.
Yeah.
No, yeah, yeah. It's such a weird thing, and through your years, has there been anyone who's blown up that was in your class, so to speak?
Dude, I feel like did anyone really blow up from? I feel like somebody I knew kind of made it big, and then I don't see them anymore. And I don't know what they moved to LA, got on a couple TV shows, and then it's kind of they're just. I'm sure they're still performing somewhere. I guess Nate. I don't know if I was in the same comedy group as Nate Bargatze. I started and like Amy Schumer was already out and about, but I didn't like know any of these people.
Right, right.
Um, so I feel like I started around the time a lot of other people were already like on their way to getting somewhere, but I had still like crossed paths with them slightly in my early years. So whatever, but nobody like I know who would be like Joe Pontillo, come
Right.
be in my sitcom.
It's funny when you say Nate Bargatze because a lot of people, because he's a Tennessee guy, whatever. But people don't realize that he really got his chops starting in New York, in the comedy scene in New York. That's where he, earned his bones, man.
Yeah, and I feel like he kind of blew up a little bit some years ago, and then leveled off, and now he's like bigger than ever. So just keep doing it, I guess, and it's never over in this business, even though it should be.
Right, exactly. And I think that's what keeps us all keep going, if you're a comedian or a creative person or whatever, is the fact that you never know. It's possible. Like I always say, my mantra, I used to be in a rap group back in the day. I was like, we're one hit away from being a one-hit wonder, man. Let's do it.
Yeah, I don't know what it is in comedy. It's one joke,
Yeah,
one joke,
yeah.
one video, and even if one video blows up, like the next day you're back in like the same place. So it's just consistency and just I don't know, almost not even caring about the little wins and just trying to get the big ones.
Yeah, you just got to keep climbing. And like you said, if you put the content out there and it exists in the world, the right person at the right time might see it and they go, "This guy, Joe Pontillo, I got to meet this guy. Let's get him on, or whatever." And this is what we're looking for. This guy reminds me of, Groucho
Yeah,
Marx, man. He's got that vibe. He's got that
that's how I got
fast
on this
wits.
show.
Yeah, yeah. Exactly, man.
Knock
But
'em
you
dead
see, like,
radio.
yeah, there you go. Shout out, Knock 'em Dead, Governor's
What was the
Radio.
other same show we were on together? Oh, Gagoots, yeah.
Yes, the Gagoot Show. The good old Benny Rizzuti. Shout out to Benny. It's always a blast. Yeah, he was in your film, and he was also in one of the episodes we did of Comic Sans. What's it like
Yes.
working with Benny?
Lots of jokes he doesn't need to make, but otherwise, he's. I was like, he's got some acting chops. Let's get him in this, and that's how like a lot of this came together. Where it was like, I would think of somebody, and I was like, no way they're available to shoot on Sunday, and then they'd be available, and I'm like, okay, well, this was meant to be. And I love Benny's character because he's there at the beginning, and I don't know if you notice, he's actually at the press conference later in the episode, and he's
Yeah,
still holding his mouth. And
he's method acting. Yeah,
yes,
that's
someone
what to
actually punched him in the face for that role.
Yeah, he actually had his wife hit him or whatever. That's hilarious. But that's what I love too about the scene here, the local, Long Island comedy scene is I prefer when directing actors and or writing is working with the comedians. I feel like they have more, in some ways, they have more range than actors, like actual actors. That they're easier to work with. They flow better. They can improv. They're funny. They know
Yeah,
timing. You know.
a lot of them don't have personalities of their own, so are already acting like somebody else.
So true, man. I did want to ask you because there's so much going on in the comedy world. We're seeing, the good, bad, and the ugly from the late night shows to like just comedies seems to be bigger than ever, more important than ever. And now Netflix put out they had that competition. I don't know if you saw that with Kevin with what's his name? Kevin the,
Kevin
I can't
Hart.
think of his name. Kevin Hart, thank you. He put out like a comedy competition. Did you see any of that? It's funny AF. And they had some New
Oh
York comics.
no, I heard about it though. I know a couple people I know were in it actually.
Yeah, it was
Uh,
really good. And I know some people are anti comedy competitions and all that kind of stuff, but I think when it gets that kind of exposure, it's good for comedy in a way.
oh yeah, yeah. I mean, hey, if you're gonna do a comedy competition, do it on Netflix or NBC or something.
Yeah,
Don't do it at
exactly.
like the local bar.
True indeed, man. Yeah, because those could be hit or miss, man. And I feel like comedy competitions still exist. Obviously, Governors has one, and everybody does them. But I feel like they were, man. When I used to write for Good Times magazine back in the day, there was so many comedy contests back then, man, and everybody it was entering them. Um,
Oh well, yeah. My first, I guess, big wins in comedy was advancing to the finals in the what was it called, the Long Island's Funniest at McGuire's. This was
yeah,
pre-governor zoning McGuire's. It was when an old
dude,
confused drunk guy owned it, and
yeah. Tom
what was really
Ryerson.
funny is that,
John
yeah, I
Ryerson.
feel like of course, legendary. And I feel like everybody who won that contest was like out of comedy within like 3 to 5 years. So I was always like, oh, maybe it's good I didn't win. But but just to
What
get to
year
the
was that?
finals when you're like less than a year in is like, wow, okay. I guess I have something going on here, or
Ex-
or completely lucked out.
Dude, what year did you start? Because I was doing stand up in 98, 99, and then I was writing for the magazines around that same time, and I would cover all those. McGuire's was like my main club at the time. So I wonder if we
Ah.
crossed paths back then. Were you doing it
I was like
then?
dabbling in comedy in like '04, '05, and then
Okay,
really
yeah.
kind of started to do it in '06.
Okay, so we missed each other. Yeah, so but yeah, I still love McGuire's back and they still love McGuire's now, but back then, man, that was my like, that we used to that's when open mics were different too, man. Open mic nights back then had a real audience and they drew crowds. We had good audiences there. And we always had a headliner like Greg Vaccarello was Joe Starr, Peaches Rodriguez. These was Paul Bond, and Harry, Dr. Harry, what the hell's his last
Oh
name?
yeah,
But yeah, but those were like the headliner ones that would close out the night. Those are good times,
yes.
man.
Yeah, I remember doing like a $5 comic night at the brokerage, which I guess was like sort of an open mic, but there was also audience. And just every comic like on Long Island would just go up on those shows. And I was like, 20 years old, being like, what have I got myself into?
Is this my life?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I remember Tim Gage was around a lot. George Gallo back then was around a lot. The McGuire's and yeah, man. I'm just thinking of some of the ones that still here, still doing it. Like I said, so many guys fall off through the years, man. But those were great days, man. That's why, you know, I just love being around it and being part of it back in those days. And even now, we're still seeing a lot of great talent. I think we're seeing another surgence of comedians that have a lot of potential. Like we could have another. Kevin James or Ray Romano or Seinfeld amongst us.
Yeah, and we're very much, except, if Seinfeld just produced his own show and put it on YouTube or Amazon Prime and just hope people found it.
Do you think if like let's just say a talent like Seinfeld popped in this generation, do you think do you think he would have a chance?
If he had a really good social media game, yes, he totally
Right.
would. I don't think he would be discovered the same way because there's just nobody's getting discovered like that because there's just too many comics. Like you like, where do I even go? Where do I go watch? I go to the city, I see like, 8 comics, and half of them don't seem like they've ever actually been on a stage before, but they're working. Uh,
Right.
you know. So now it's more just like you have to like almost make people notice you. And could somebody like Seinfeld pull it off today? I don't know. Yeah, I would love to like. There should be a study to see like which famous comedians would make it today.
Yeah, because like you think about Seinfeld, and there's so many guys like this where there was only one real avenue to do it was the Tonight Show, right? So you go from the clubs, then you get this, the whole thing is to make sure the booker for the Tonight Show is there, and then if the booker likes you, he puts you on, and then you go on. If you kill and he puts you to the couch, your life is changed overnight. That method is
Right.
gone. That's no longer that doesn't exist anymore. That
No.
road.
Just so weird. And even if you do get on the Tonight Show, um, all it means is there's a nice clip of you on YouTube now, pretty much, where you'll probably get a bunch of enemies. Like somebody I know did the Tonight Show not too long ago, and it was like half the comments were like, "All right, great, very funny," and other people were like, "This guy should go back to his day job," or where that would never happen back in the day. You would just do the show, and yeah, sure, maybe people wouldn't like you, but they weren't publicly, defaming you somewhere. I did a TV spot and no one saw it. And it was a thing I chased for like a year and a half to get on,
Is that the
Gotham Comedy
Gotham?
Live.
Yeah.
And I did it. And it was a cool experience. That was about it. It was a good credit for a few years.
You killed on it. I've seen it. It was an awesome thing. And like you said, the power of TV or whatever has been overshadowed or overran by the power of the internet and social media. And it's crazy because, like you said, it's so saturated and flooded um, that it's hard to stand out. Now, you mentioned about the comments and things of your friend. Do you read comments or because they could, if they're negative ones, they could fuck you up.
Yeah, well, it's so weird. So, like, I put my last special on YouTube a couple of years ago, and but, well, my first special was on Amazon, and I got mostly positive comments, but there was one guy who just left a comment and was like, I love comedy, but I couldn't get past the first 10 minutes. It's just this guy complaining about comedy, which the first like 10, 12 minutes was me telling all these like awful stories about comedy, which I guess maybe isn't always someone's cup of tea. And then he did 1 star, was the only bad review I got. And I remember just being like, what do I do? And I was like losing it. It was Amazon, so you could like click the guy's name and you could see like what else he's giving reviews on. I'm like, let me find out what this scumbag buys and likes. But over the next like several years, I kind of just learned to just deal with. I'm like, I know there's always gonna be negative. You could put out the best thing ever, someone is going to not like it.
Yeah.
And it just is what it is. I mean, it's just like in comedy. Like you can kill, and there's still probably like a handful of people in the audience who are like, "I didn't get it." But mostly they're not coming up to you afterwards going, "I didn't get it." Whereas YouTube and social media is this very vocal thing because everybody gets to hide behind anonymous accounts. And then I kind of just stopped taking it seriously because like a couple times I would get like a negative comment on something, and for whatever reason I would respond. and then never get any kind of response or anything back from that person. And it's just like, so this person shows up, leaves a crappy comment, and it just sort of vanishes from the internet. It just feels like such a not serious thing. That's like,
Right.
why would
Yeah.
you even bother you?
Yeah, it's the same because once you're if you're a comic or like I said, creative person of any kind, once you post something or put something out there, you're automatically opening yourself up to that, and these people take advantage of that, and to me, they're it's cowardly, it's not cool, and all that stuff. But to me, as long as it's not like a personal thing, like this dude is a like Don Sill, I know like if they get attacking me like the whatever, I
Oh, I see
almost
you in
laugh it
real
off.
life. You're dead. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I'm coming to your house. But most of the time, I guess kind of I literally figured out just to laugh it off, and because there's some meme out there somewhere that says if they don't hate you, that means you're not doing it right or some shit like that. And so I'm like, all right, you know
Yeah.
what? If they hated me, then it's that I take it almost as a badge of honor.
You just don't want everybody to hate you because then you're probably doing something wrong. Uh, but it's okay to have a few people not like you. That's kind of the point you have to get to as an entertainer. Like, obviously, if everybody likes you, then you just I don't know what I would say. You're a cookie cutter, or
Right? Yeah, yeah,
but
yeah.
you know.
There's definitely yeah, exactly. I, it's a weird thing because you want everybody to like you, but at the same time, if everybody likes you, you're like, hey, what am I doing wrong? I need
Right.
somebody to be. Uh, no, and but yeah, Pontello and Associates. Everyone's got to check it out. It's on YouTube. I'll put the link in the bio here. Everybody should check it out. Like I said, it's funny. It's uniquely Joe Pontillo, his style, his vibe. It's very good stuff. I also love that you mix it up. You got a laptop and then you also have that old school cell phone, and it's just all over the place. So
Right. You're the first person who's pointed that out. That like, oh yeah, I have a very modern laptop, but I still use a phone from the '90s. Uh,
it's so great, man. Well, dude, it's always awesome to talk to you, man, and catch up with you. So, yeah, what's your like for people to come and follow you and all that kind of stuff? Where could they go and check you out?
yeah, go find me on. Well, go to YouTube and help build my sad subscriber count, which I did actually get a little wave from the pilot and everything, so that's cool. But still woefully low on there. Should really post on there more. And then Instagram and TikTok or where you'll see me posting regularly. And then at least once a month I do a show in Island Park at Michael's. That's kind of like my big regular show that I do. Been doing it for like 2.5 years.
Nice,
Had a
yeah.
premiere there, shot my last special there. So it's kind of my home location.
Right, yeah. That's awesome. Yeah, I heard a lot of people buzzing about that spot too. It's above a pool hall or something, and
Yeah,
supposedly
I'm
it's a
always
really
worried
great
when I
room.
yeah, I'm always worried when I book people. They think it's in an actual pool hall, and I'm like, no, separate room. I'm not not doing that
Right.
to you.
That's good stuff, man. Well, congrats on the film. And we hope to see more stuff of it. And again, I'm gonna have my people call your people and get you involved in our movie, okay?
It's not Tony. No, I'm kidding. But
Joe Pontello, you rock, my brother. Thank you so much, man.
thank you, Don.